are going to stand up in record numbers tomorrow, just like they did in November when we beat my opponent by 2 points and held the line then. So I'm optimistic we'll do that. But let me say something about the Secretary of State. I did say it was disgusting. I guess I was raised differently, Sandra. My mom and dad were school teachers, but to have a statewide elected official, regardless of party, tape without disclosing a conversation, private conversation with the President of the United States and then leaking it to the press is disgusting. But I didn't hear anything in that tape that the president hasn't already said for weeks now since the November election, calling for some sort of investigation, some sort of resolution to the improprieties and the irregularities that we now see happened in November here in Georgia.
Perhaps then you're not seeing what Jonathan Turley saw when he said it was absolutely breathtaking to hear the president use the words, I just want to find the 11,780 votes. He's a constitutional law professor. Ari Fleischer said pretty much everything the president said on that call was wrong. Used to be the press secretary for George Bush. Adam Kinzinger, a Republican, called what the president did there on pressuring the Secretary of State absolutely appalling. So, sir, you've reacted to the leaking of that call and the actual taping of it. Got it. But what about the contents of that call?
Well, however he said it, Sandra, what he's saying, a lot of people in Georgia, and 75 million Americans, I think, align with him right now that something untoward happened here in Georgia, and we have not gotten to the bottom of it. Right away, I asked the Secretary of State for some things that didn't happen. We called for his resignation. We asked for a special session of the General Assembly to investigate. That didn't happen, so we went to court. They told us it was a legislative issue, and so we have pulled out all the stops to try to fight with the president to get the right accounting. Look, I missed this runoff by just a few thousand votes myself. We beat our opponent by 2%. In every other state but one, we would already be reelected. We know the probability of the low number of absentee ballots that were rejected is 1 in 10,000. That's the probability that you would have numbers like we had in Georgia in November. So until somebody looks at that, I've been calling for weeks to object to the electors because in the state of Georgia, I don't believe that we should have certified this election yet.
Are you concerned that that may discourage voters from coming out to vote for you and your Republican colleague, Kelly Loeffler, in Georgia tomorrow?
Well, that's what the Democrats want. That's what they've been talking. That's what this is so confusing. They keep talking about that. That's exactly what they want. That would give them total control if they win these 2 seats. My logic is this, is that if you voted in November for Donald Trump, you need to stand up and fight with the rest of us that are trying to get him a fair accounting in the state and vote tomorrow. We've done everything we can outside of a General Assembly special session to change the rules, and we have added 8,000 poll watchers. We have all the drop boxes under observation now with cameras and people there 24/7. So we're doing everything we can do to make sure this is a totally fair and transparent election in January.
To be clear, the ballots in the presidential election were counted in your state 3 times, including a mandatory hand count and a Trump-requested recount. So you're asking for more than that. More should be done than that.
Sandra, I never called for a recount. That was a waste of time. A hand count and a machine recount. Now, that's not what I've been saying. I've been saying all along that there are things that went on around the signatures that we have not been given answers to, and therefore we need a full signature audit against the registration signature alone, not an application signature or anything else. And oh, by the way, we don't even know that certain counties who were given the discretion to do that when they were burdened with an ever-increasing amount of application for absentee ballots. We went from 5% to 30% absentee ballots in this race.
Yeah. Are you still in quarantine? You put out a press release last